Let's start with one of my weird introductions. You know that I like it a lot. The Bee Gees, the famous Australian and English band that for sure we all know quite well, at least for their special use of the voice, in 1977 wrote a song called Emotion. And here is an excerpt of the text. In the words of Broken Heart, it's just emotion that's taken me over, tied up in sorrow, lost in my soul. Okay, a little bit dramatic, but it's fine. Anyway, of course we are not going to talk about emotions, even if I would love to, but instead of emotion, we will address emissions. And here we are. A topic that, as you can imagine, especially in ceramics, is a very burning issue. More specifically, we will focus on a substance that I would define as, controversial. That is formaldehydes. Why controversial? Because formaldehydes in small and regulated amounts can promote some important benefits. Just think about its use in hospital environments. But that in greater quantities, it can surely be a problem. So, today we are not going to talk about a specific stage of the production process using our classical approach, that is, problems, origins, and solutions. But we will try together to learn something more about this special substance that sometimes may get out of the chimney of the ceramic kilns. I am Davide Trentini, and this is Apparently Invisible, Chemistry in Ceramics. So, the Italian ceramic industry has been involved for years in a very important goal. That is, the reduction of environmental impact. For this reason, it is constantly under examinations that check, we could say, and ensure its performance according to the standards that, as you can imagine, are very strict. In this regard, the areas that are usually taken into account are as follows. First, water balance. And with water balance, we are referring to all those processes that make the inflows to any water system or area equal to its outflows within 24 hours. We are basically talking about an accurate estimate of revenue and loss. Second, the materials in use. Third, energy consumption. And last but not least, atmospheric emissions. Good. The latter, that is, the atmospheric emissions, of course, have been for a long time under the attentions of legislators, industry, and institutional research. And in this regard, among all the possible emissions, the most important compounds that the ceramic sector has to constantly check can be listed as follows. I'll give you a short list with the help of our already known little bulb. Particulate matter, fluorine, volatile organic compounds, aldehydes and formaldehydes, lead, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides. That said, given these categories, which is the role and what are the features of formaldehydes? Before entering the heart of our subject, let's take a step back, speaking about aldehydes. The question is, what are aldehydes? From a chemical point of view, aldehydes are an important class of organic compounds marked by the presence of the functional group CO, so-called carbonylic group. And by the way, a chemical or functional group, we have already seen it in the past, but we repeat it even today, is an atom or groups of atoms that provide with specific chemical features, mostly reactive, all those compounds that contain them. And moreover, according to the functional group of the molecule, organic substances can be classified in homologous series, such as, for example, alcohol, carboxylic acids, ketones, etc., that show similarities in their chemical behavior and in their physical properties. That said, formaldehyde belongs to the category of aldehydes, and it is the simplest representative of that type. It usually stands out for its high reactivity, biodegradability, high boiling point, and its water solubility. But where can we find it? I mean, in which substances? It is a naturally occurring substance in the form of colorless gas, and according to its water solubility, it can also be used in aqueous form. In both cases, it is marked by a pungent smell, certainly unpleasant. I also want to add that formaldehyde is naturally produced by some combustion processes and by the oxidative metabolism of a lot of living organisms. Even humans produce, unknowingly of course, ridiculous amount of it. For sure, it is one of the most common chemicals and is present in almost every environment, including the household. It can be found into paints, dyes, cosmetics, conditioners, shampoo, hairsprays, nails products, smoked or fried food, and in very low percentage in vegetables and fruit. But no panic. Let's see why. Formaldehyde, thanks to its features, can perform various functions. And for this reason, it is used in rigid, regulated concentrations in many different areas. We have seen it. And this is the reason why at the beginning of the episode I defined formaldehyde as a controversial substance. In fact, we could say that it is a double-faced substance, harmful yet useful. Since it is marked by a powerful bactericidal action, it is used, for example, in hospitals, in aqueous solutions of domestic sanitizers, and in the industrial production of textiles. It is also primarily used as a food preservative. You maybe know the additive called E number 240. When added to other compounds, formaldehyde can be found in sound-absorbing sealing or in binders for chipboard or laminated wooden panels. We could say, in general, in furnishing. Anyway, let's go on, looking closer at its more dangerous aspect. Because despite its widespread use, formaldehyde is also marked by toxic features that impose to pay carefully attention during manipulation, as well as a rigid procedure in case of massive inhalation or contact. But how can you come into contact with this substance? The answer is quite simple, mainly by breathing. The amount that can be ingested with a normal diet or absorbed through the skin, in fact, is absolutely negligible. And among the immediate effects that can occur after a personal exposure to high rate of formaldehyde, the most frequent are airways and ocular irritation, tiredness, and skin rash. But beyond the medical report, it is important to point out that in recent times, and more precisely in January 2016, formaldehyde has been definitely classified as carcinogenic. Good. The formaldehyde's carcinogenic nature has imposed all labs that are in charge of the emissions analysis to separate and measure it separately from the other aldehydes. So to, we could say, isolate its presence, defining precisely and accurately its amount in the air. But where does formaldehyde that is in the air come from? As we know, in ceramic field, the use of specific solvent-based products within the digital decoration process, inks and glues above all, causes during the firing cycle the emissions of substances that, if not properly managed and checked, may negatively impact not only on the odors but also on the air quality. We can also add that even if the values are constantly controlled and the ceramic district is showing a constant and rigorous attention in containing and complying with the limits laid down by the provisions in force, the research and the development of alternative solutions that can improve producer standards and performances currently represent the first goal in the agenda of several companies involved in the field. And in this perspective, the replacement of the solvent-based product with lower invasive alternatives seem to be, today, all about water-based products, or we could also say more generally about the water-based system. What do I mean? I mean that the use of water-based digital inks and glues within the digital printing process has led to an important decrease of sulf, aldehydes, formaldehydes, and organic acid emissions responsible for the poor air quality. Their different chemical formulation, in fact, has been specifically developed to act in this direction. Without entering in very complex technical details, we could simplify by saying that The formulation has been developed in order to get the best combustion as possible during the firing cycle. What does that mean? It means, once again, that the features of the chosen polar solvent used in water-based products, unlike those non-polar used within solvent-based digital inks and glues, burn more easily inside the kilns. In addition, water-based digital inks are also marked by a water content that corresponds to the 40-50% of the liquid phase, and therefore by a reduction of the 40-50% of the liquid organic components that are the basis of the environmental problems that we are addressing today. In general, we can end by saying that even if the district has already achieved great results and very high levels, it is still important to increase in near futures all those actions that can further improve the quality of the air we breathe. And with this last suggestion about the water-based system, that of course I recommend you a lot, even today's episode has come to an end. As usual, I remind you that you can listen to the previous episodes on the main platform, such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or on our app that you can download for free on Apple Store or Google Play by typing Z and S Ceramco, or Apparently Invisible. And now, full of emotions but without any emissions, I need to go. See you soon.